On a blog post released on January 30th, Aaron Keller says, "We're confident that we're going to be able to make an impact on our community at all skill levels when this system fully launches." That system they're referring to is a system that's been in the game for a while, but obviously has been apparently improved to the point of re-release. And that would be the anti-smurfing, I suppose, algorithm, or whatever it may be. There is some way that they are detecting people smurfing and doing things like unranked GM apparently, and what they plan on doing is if those players get detected to be smurfing, it will in some way make it so that them ranking up is much easier, so they'll rank up way faster so that they do not smurf for as long. Now on paper, to a lot of people, that sounds like a really good thing, because a lot of people dislike smurfs. I personally don't mind smurfing. I've had that stance forever. I don't mind smurfing. I think it's completely fine. I don't see there being any problems with it. People can disagree with me. I have tons of videos on it. Go watch those if you want my full opinion on it. But basically, people will look at this and generally think this is a good thing for them because they don't like smurfs. Therefore, it's good that they're going to try and get rid of them. And I would agree to some degree, at least, that would make sense. However, this used to be a thing before. There was a thing called smurf detection, and it was notoriously terrible. It was really bad. Do you want to know when smurf detection kind of became a thing? It was around Season 3. Season 2, 3, 4, that kind of area. Do you know what else was going on during Season 2, 3, and 4? That was the period of time where absolutely everyone in Overwatch was absolutely giga boosted in ranking to an unbelievable degree. But not everyone, only a lot of people. So it meant that GM games basically just became diamond games, and diamond games became silver games, and basically everything below diamond was just essentially quick play with completely random players in it. Either people doing really well or really bad, bronze players, diamond players. It was a whole bag. It was awful. One of the worst iterations of ranked of all Overwatch history. It was so bad, it was borderline unplayable for almost everyone. And yet, at Blizzard, we are deciding that we're going to go back to that. Now, hopefully, it's not as bad. However, in another blog post, they had also mentioned how Champion was a rank that they thought was a little bit too unobtainable for people, and it was a little bit too rare, and they planned on changing it so that more people would be achieving the Champion rank. To me, that sounds like Season 3, where they're boosting people again. So they're doing two things. They're intentionally boosting accounts to make Champion a more achievable rank, because apparently it's too rare, and they are also adding in another layer of Smurf protection to try and rank up Smurfs faster. If that doesn't sound like we're going to get another Season 3 where everyone is absolutely boosted into the stratosphere, then I don't know what is. That seems like the most blatant admission of, we don't actually care, we're just going to boost everyone again. So, don't be surprised if we get Season 3 version 2, where essentially everyone you encounter above basically plat is going to be a gold player, apart from the people that have actually earned it and actually deserve that ranking. So, that is quite an interesting dilemma that we've achieved. Now, I have videos, again, in the past, having made those videos about how anti-smurfing protection is really, really, really bad in a lot of cases. Because, and I'll actually just go over it because that video was quite old. Essentially, what happens when you have things like anti-smurfing protection, they have to be absolutely perfect or they completely destroy the ranked mode. Because what will happen is, some players will get tagged as Smurfs when they aren't. When those players are tagged by Smurfs when they are not, they will be boosted in ranking, obviously. Then they will achieve their new ranking. Because of that new achievement of new ranking, they're any higher rank than they deserve, because they were wrongly labeled as a Smurf account. Now, they're in a higher rank throwing games, essentially, because they're not good enough to be there because they got boosted there by the anti-smurf protection. Now, either one of two things will happen. Either they will be continued to be labeled as a Smurf account when they derank again and they will get boosted back up, or they will not. But either way, they will have gone into a rank too high for them and thrown games. What does that do? Well, the people that were affected by that player are now going to be in a lower rank. And when you consider the fact that this is going to happen to a lot of people, some people are unfortunately going to get unlucky enough to the point where they get so many of these falsely flagged Smurf accounts that they're going to be deranked to the point where they basically are smurfing. And then they're going to smurf on people for a very long time, getting back to the rank. Then they may get tagged for anti-smurf protection, and then the cycle continues where they may get boosted to a rank that they do not deserve past that point. And it will just be this endless cycle of boosted player gets into a lobby, isn't good enough, throws the game, people are affected by that and derank, those players get hit by the anti-smurfing protection, get boosted to an even higher rank than they were before, then obviously the cycle will continue where they will get deranked again, thus throwing more games. And that is what happened before. Now, it didn't happen all that often because the anti-smurfing protection wasn't actually very strict and basically didn't even work or trigger most of the time. But considering the fact that they're hyping this up alongside the changes to hopefully boosting people in ranking to hopefully achieve champion rank more often, it is becoming fairly apparent that we're going to get another Season 3. And it's going to be just as bad, if not worse, if the anti-smurfing protection is as volatile as they're making it out to be, because they're hamming it up to be even more stricter than it was before, and what it was before was really bad. I mean, don't just take my word for it. Go back and watch my old videos, or go back and watch anyone's old videos around that time, and it is boosted garbage after boosted garbage after boosted garbage. Grandmaster was borderline unplayable. It was that bad, because half the lobby were Diamond players, Plat players, Masters players in some cases, that were just ultra boosted, but they were all in the same rank pool now because of the fact that they were all nearing the highest rank. And GM1 players, obviously their queue times will be affected, so it will expand the range so that their queue times are shorter, thus pulling in these like GM3 players that were actually Plat players and then ruining those games because they are not good enough. Ranked was basically just quick play for a long time because of that, and a big part of that was anti-smurfing protection. So although I agree that I think smurfing is completely fine, and I personally don't have a problem with it, I understand why people would dislike smurfing and would want smurfing to go away. I think that's okay. However, you have to admit, an anti-smurfing protection algorithm, or whatever it may be, only works if it's perfect. If it isn't absolutely perfect or near absolute perfection, then it will break the ranked ladder, because it will boost players to the wrong rank that do not deserve it. Those players will throw games, people will derank, those people will then be considered smurfing because of the fact they had their games thrown. They may get either two things are going to happen. They will either get tagged as a smurf and they will continue the cycle, or they won't get tagged as a smurf and they'll just smurf lobbies more. So either way, all it's doing is creating more boosted players, but the smurfing problem will remain and will likely not change anything. The only thing I can think of where this wouldn't be a massive issue would be it only affecting brand new accounts that are, for example, just made in their first ever placements, and it were to affect those. I think in that case, it might not be that bad, but even then, it might fuck over a new player. What if a new player's queuing with his Plat friend, and then after 4 games, he can't queue with his friend anymore that's teaching him the game, because he's now apparently a Masters player, because he's won those 4 games, and he thinks he's smurfing. Well, now he gets placed in Masters, throws a bunch of games, and even then, like, at the anti-smurfing protection, you have to admit it has to be perfect, and if it's not, it will ruin the rank ladder. Regardless of the fact that, yeah, there might be less smurfs, would you look at that, there's also way more boosted players. So, and this will affect everyone. If you're a gold player, you will get affected by that. Bronze players will get boosted. If you're a Grandmaster player, Masters and Diamond players are going to get boosted into your rank. It will affect everyone. And I don't want to be a doomer. I know people think I'm a doomer. I'm not a doomer. I just try to tell the truth. I genuinely believe this anti-smurfing protection will create an unbelievable amount of boosting similar to Season 3. I think we're going to get a similar situation where there's tons of boosted players absolutely everywhere. The anti-smurfing protection is going to be wrong more times than it's right. And I think it will fuck ranked. I think it will completely break ranked. And I hope I'm wrong. And I hope people can come back to this video in, I don't know, a year's time and say, Greed, you were fucking wrong, you're dumb. And I'll say, you know what, you're right, I was wrong. It didn't affect it to the degree I thought it would. And I'm obviously wrong for it. And I really do hope that's the case. However, go back to my older videos. I'm very rarely wrong. I'll admit I can be wrong. Absolutely. I'm not the oracle or some like being that's always correct. I just think that it's relatively easy to piece certain things together in a lot of cases because of Blizzard's track record. It's relatively easy to see how things are going to go, especially when you understand the game to my level and you've played it for so long. Generally speaking, I am right, though I have been wrong. And I hope in this case I'm wrong too, because I really don't want another Season 3. That was probably the most miserable I've ever been playing ranked, ever, because it was completely fucking broken. Anyway, have a good day. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.